In this concept video, we are going to talk about sine, cosine, tangent. Most of you have seen that in geometry where it's SOHCAHTOA. We have SOH, so that's sine is opposite side over hypotenuse. Ca is CAH, which is cosine, that's adjacent over hypotenuse. And then if I look at tangent is TOA, which is opposite or over adjacent. So what we're looking at in trig functions is looking at the ratio of the sides. Just like you did in special triangles in geometry, we're comparing the ratio of the sides. Should always be the same for a certain angle. So we can use sine, cosine, tangent as kind of a shortcut to that just general comparison of the two sides. So we don't have to have two similar triangles to compare the sides. We already know if it's a 30-degree angle, the ratio of the opposite side to the adjacent side is always going to be the same thing. So if we're looking at our first example, I have my theta, which is here. That's my angle. Right now we just want to know what the ratio of the sides is. So if I'm standing here at theta, the side opposite me over here, that's the opposite side. If I look at what is adjacent, that means adjacent to my foot here. That's what's attached. So adjacent is attached, so it's attached to that angle, and that would be the adjacent side. And then opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse. So if we compare sine of theta, which is opposite over hypotenuse, then we take the opposite side, which is 7, over the hypotenuse, which is 25, and that's my ratio of sides. So we basically have that other triangle that we're comparing to, that their sides are 7 to 25, and then we can figure out what our missing side is. So if I look at cosine, cosine is adjacent, so what's attached to my foot right here? 24 over the hypotenuse, which is 25, and that's my ratio of sides for cosine. And then tangent compares the opposite to the adjacent. So if I go all the way over here to the opposite side, which is 7, over my adjacent side, which is 24. So this is sine, this is cosine, and this is tangent. So basically I already have the left-hand side of my proportion. Now I just have to figure out what the ratio of the sides of my triangle are. So we'll do that later on in another concept. So go ahead and pause the video, go ahead and do number 2, and then come back and check it out. So in number 2, we have our theta is now up here. This is where I'm standing. On the opposite side of the right triangle, or the right angle, is my hypotenuse. What is opposite side of me is 30, so that's opposite. And then the thing adjacent or attached to my foot here is the adjacent side. So my sine is opposite 30 over hypotenuse 34. And then I always simplify, so I can divide by 2 on top and bottom and get 15 over 17. And then cosine is this attached side for me, which is 16. Over my hypotenuse, which is 34, and again you have to simplify, so that would be 8 over 17. And then tangent, I have my opposite over here over my adjacent, so I have 30 over 16, divide the top by 2 and I get 15, divide the bottom by 2, I get 8. So when I'm doing proportions, or when I'm working with trig, I am not going to make it a mixed number. I'm going to leave it as improper. So instead of 15 over 8, I don't want to see 1 and 7/8. I want to see 15 over 8 because then I can use that and compare with another. So go ahead and do number 3 as homework.